Okay guys, so we're going to be making maple syrup roasted butternut squash and carrots today. So what we're going to do is cut up our carrots and cut up our butternut squash first, okay? So as you can see, I have already washed and peeled my butternut squash. So I'm gonna do it almost like fries, because I want a nice crunch. If you roast it, if it's like not too thick, you can get a nice roast on it, okay? Okay, so I'm gonna be cutting my squash. I'm just gonna have this again. Okay, so this is the size that I will do for my squash, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna be putting it into this bowl so I can mix everything together. Actually, let me just dry the bowl a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna be cutting my squash like about this size, okay? So I cut it like that, and then I'm just gonna cut it down like this. Obviously this side is thinner than this. So what I'm gonna do with this one, I'm gonna make this a little thinner. So I'm gonna go down here. All right, so we make it a little thinner. And then I'm gonna put everything in here so I could mix it. Now I'm also going to be doing carrots as well. So what I'm going to do with the carrot is I'm going to cut it. I'm going to hold it up like this, and then I'm going to go down like this, and then turn and go down like this. Oh, well, that was a mistake. Let's try this again. Okay, so I'm going to go down like this, turn, okay. So this is one way of doing it. See that? I'm just turning and slicing down, turning and slicing. So at the end here, I'll just cut it down. All right, so that's basically how I'm going to be cutting my butternut squash and carrots. Actually, you know what? All right, so let me get to cutting up the rest, and then I'll be back. Okay, guys, so I figured out an easier way to cut the butternut squash. Instead of doing it this way, turn it this way, and just cut it down like this. I think that's easier. All right, so we have our butternut squash and our carrots here. So what we're going to do now is season this up. All right, so to season this up, we're going to put some sea salt. Actually, let me use my measuring spoon. Okay, so for the amount what I have here, I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of sea salt. Okay, I'm going to use some Mrs. Dash garlic and herb seasoning blend. I don't have much of this. It's finished now. So I'm going to use that. And let me get some olive oil. I'm going to drizzle this with some olive oil. And the star of our dish today is maple syrup, because remember, this is maple syrup roasted butternut squash and carrots. So we're going to drizzle our maple syrup now. all over. Okay, now we get our hands in there and we're going to mix everything together. Mix it well. I'm going to give it a nice massage. Make sure everything is coated nicely. As a matter of fact, because we can eat carrots raw, I can test it and see if I need to add any salt, any more salt rather, to my carrots. So let me take one carrot and see. I think that's good. Doesn't need any more. All right, so now I'm going to put this onto my baking sheet here. Now, I don't know if I mentioned already, but I have my oven at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, preheating. So let's just spread this out as best as we can, so we can get a nice roast on these carrots and butternut squash. It's going to be delicious, guys. It's going to be delicious. All right, so we're going to roast this until it's nice and golden. So you can determine how long you want to roast yours for. For me, I'm not going to give you a time because I just judge it in terms of how it looks. Like sometimes I'll put it a little longer if I want it to get a little more brown. So just put it in and roast it for as long as you desire. The longer you leave it to roast, is the more sort of like brown it will get, which will bring out a nice sweet caramelized flavor or taste to it. So I like it nice and roasted well. All right, so I'm gonna put this into the oven and show you how it looks at the end.